Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to a beautiful Sunday here in November in Surfside, California. It's absolutely gorgeous. The sun has just come up, and there's like thousands of birds back there behind me. I hope this is not like an Alfred Hitchcock thing where these birds are going to suddenly attack me. But man, look at all of those things. Pretty amazing spectacle of nature here early this morning. And speaking of spectacles of nature, man, that bluefin tuna bite here in Southern California offshore is absolutely tremendous. We'll have details on that. Good friend of mine, John Collis, just getting in on the Pacific Queen this morning. He said, Phil, there are thousands. There's so much bluefin out there. It's absolutely incredible, according to John, and I trust him. I fished with him on the Independence. Good morning, my dear friend JC. Hope you're having a great morning. We saw a lot of that going on. Lots of limit-style fishing on bluefin tuna in SoCal and even northern Baja, California, Mexico. The limit per day on bluefin tuna is 2. And man, the guys have had no trouble for many boats reaching that limit on a regular basis. And I don't see it slowing down. The weather forecast, remember, I was talking about some wind on Wednesday and Thursday. That's out of the forecast now. It's going to be a little bit breezy maybe on Wednesday night, and that's about it. It's going to stay flat, calm, and gorgeous for the next 8-10 days, if you believe the long-range forecast. And again, those are a little dicey sometimes, but it looks perfect. We may get a little bit of rain, but we're not going to get the wind, and the rain is not going to hurt this bite one bit at all. Also seen some good rockfish up and down the coast, some big bluefin tuna up there around Bodega Bay, Santa Cruz, in Northern California. You know what time it is, my friends. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friend. Oh, my God. Is that good and much needed here on this lovely Sunday morning. It is absolutely beautiful. You don't mind, hit that like button. We deeply appreciate it. When you share these videos, tick the bell. You'll be notified when there's new content. Subscribe to the Friedman Adventures channel right here on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, catch us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, as we're there for you 24/7. December the 2nd, we have our Christmas party, and we would love you to hang out with us as we enter into that great time of the year, festive time of the year. Bring in the Christmas season on December the 2nd over at the Redondo Beach Rod and Gun Club. We've got that place reserved for your fun, and it is going to be a lot of fun, whether you're telling fish stories or enjoying the Christmas spirit or having a nice meal with the Friedman Adventures family. It's going to be a date to remember. December the 2nd, just send me a text. We'll reserve your spot. If you're a Patreon member, you can bring a guest and yourself for free and enjoy a great meal and have lots of fun. We'll have some raffles and just have a festive atmosphere. Last night, we were over at All Souls Cemetery in Long Beach, California for the Eddie Leland Memorial. What a showing. Packed house. So many emotional stories. The place just filled with love. Eddie is a guy, Captain Eddie Leland, who made a huge difference in the lives of so many, including yours truly. And the same can be said for his lovely family. Perhaps one of the best speeches was 11-year-old Michael Limon. Now, Michael met Eddie. I'm not sure exactly when we met Eddie with Michael, but I do remember one day when we were down at 22nd Street Landing, his dad, Dan Lightfoot, was there, and Michael was there, and also Chuck Zimmer, the president of the Rod and Gun Club in Redondo Beach, with his son and little daughter. And man, I'll tell you what, we had a lovely day. The Independence was docked. They were doing maintenance, and I walked up to Paul Strasser and said, hey, do you mind if these guys fish in the stern of the boat, catching some yellowfin croaker and stuff like that? And Paul said, no problem, come on board. And so Michael Limon and Chuck Zimmer and his son and daughter and Eddie Leland got to fish on the Independence. All right, yeah, it was in the harbor at 22nd Street Landing, but they get to say they fished there. And Eddie, of course, doing his thing, tutoring kids, bringing all of his joy and love for sport fishing to these kids, and Eddie was so good at that. And Michael got up last night. He just stood up, and I looked at his grandpa and I said, is he going to speak? He goes, I guess so. Michael, under his own initiative, walked up there and paid tribute to Eddie, and it was beautiful. It came from his heart. I know that Tino Valentine walked up at the end of it, Captain Tino Valentine, and he said that was a perfect way to cap this off. And there were so many great people there. I'm not going to mention everybody because there's too many, but it was a memorable night. Thank you so much. It was so good to see so many of you and to feel the love that surrounded that event last night is a testament to Captain Eddie Leland. His memory, his life will live on forever in the hearts and souls of the many people he touched with his kindness and love. All right, let's get into it. I'm telling you right now, there is so much to talk about. And we got to start with the offshore situation because it is phenomenal right now. And I love the weather. I know you might get a little bit of wet weather in here on Wednesday, Thursday, and then it might persist for a little while, but the wind is not going to blow, and that's the only thing that matters. Hey, where do all my birds go? What is going on here, man? They're pulling the slip on me. It's going to be beautiful. It may not be sunny and warm like this, but it's certainly going to have no wind, and that's all we need to keep catching this bluefin tuna. It's voluminous, it's different grade, it's phenomenal. John Collis, great guy. JC's just backing in on the Pacific Queen, a 3-day trip. He said day number 1, limits of like 30-pound bluefin tuna. Day number 2, limits of like 60-pound bluefin tuna. Day number 3, they top off with 100 to 170-pound BFT. John said there is so much fish everywhere right now. It is incredible. He said a fly line bait was the way to get most of the fish in the daytime snared. So you want to fish that sometimes 25-pound fluoro, sometimes 30, sometimes 40. All depends upon the intensity of the bite, what you can get them to eat. And as always, as I tell you, you want to get them to eat the heaviest line possible. And you'll observe around you. If you're on a boat like the Pacific Queen or most boats in San Diego, those crew members are in tune to what's going on. Make a friend, talk to them. Make sure that you have in your head exactly what you're going to need to be successful. From the pound that you're fishing on the fluorocarbon to the size hook. Sometimes you got to drop down to a number 4 size circle hook to get a bite. Get all that covered. Keep your eyes open. See if the bite is going crazy, and you're going to be in really good shape. Man, phenomenal fishing going on in San Diego right now, and it just does not want to slow down. And of course, there's the nighttime bite, which has been phenomenal. Also 300 to 500 gram jigs for the most part. Dropping when the captain tells you to drop, essential. Also getting to the correct depth, and you can do that with metered line. Now that is line that changes colors every 100 feet, and that is essential to your success when you're fishing bluefin tuna at night. So keep that in mind. Oh my God, sounds like a dogfight behind us. Once again, make sure that you have that meter line. It makes all the difference in the world. Drop when the captain tells you to drop, and work hard at night, and you will have all the bases covered and be able to do really, really well. Let me give you some scores here because they are fantastic. New low end 3-day, 17 guys, 102 bluefin tuna. The Amigo out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California. Limits of bluefin tuna. And you can see Chef Jason there with a really nice, big, beautiful lingcod. Excellent catch there. Liberty, 22 guys, a 2-day trip. Limits with 88 on the bluefin tuna. Excellent fishing going on there. We told you about the Pacific Queen and JC. They had phenomenal fishing. Really, really excellent stuff going on there. Also, we continue to see that fish kind of push out a little ways towards San Clemente Island. This is a daily kind of occurrence. So what I'm telling you right now may change tomorrow or in the next few hours. The Mission Belle was on a 1-day trip. They're fishing that trip where you leave in the morning, you come back in the evening, and they had a really tough day as that fish pushed out just a little too far out of their range. It may move back in there here today. We'll keep our eyes on it. Last night there was some excellent nighttime fishing, but that 1-day trip kind of situation is very difficult. That has led to San Diego, a boat that leaves in the morning, comes back in the evening, like the Mission Belle out of Seaforth Sport Fishing. That has led them to fish the Coronado Islands right now. I think they had 2 yellows at the islands, not all that much. and then a bunch of rockfish and stuff like that. But that one day, that full day, I should call it, that area has become way more dicey here the last couple of days. We'll continue to watch that for you very closely. Wouldn't surprise me if that fish moves within range again, because this season is just going to go on and on and on. I can't see an end coming anytime soon, especially in the next, say, 10 days or so. We should ride this right in to Thanksgiving, and it is truly phenomenal here in SoCal. Pride with a big day out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California. They also had great fishing. The Freedom's been doing their thing on a regular basis. So absolutely great fishing offshore. Now, long-range fishing, as we told you, Sam De La Torre was jumping on an 11-day trip yesterday on the Royal Star. They are en route to the Ridge and Alejos Rocks and all those zones down there. They've had some really great fishing. Tom Honecker was getting off of the Royal Star when Sam was getting on. I said, Tom, how was it? He said, man, Phil, I got a 50-pound yellowtail on the surface iron. Man, can you imagine the explosion that Tom and the other anglers on board were treated to when that yellow came up and ate that surface iron? That is phenomenal. He said there's wahoo, yellowfin, tuna, yellowtail, just that wide variety of species that you expect to see in the fall. Long range fishing out of San Diego. We're talking 8 days and above. Phenomenal right now. Don't forget, we've got an 8-day trip next year. It's already starting to book up. It's on board the Independence. What a gorgeous rig out of Point Loma Sport Fishing. We'll be taking off on the 18th of November, 2024, back in the 26th, which is 2 days before Thanksgiving. IndependenceSportFishing.com if you'd like to join us on that one. All right, let's take a look at kind of our local situation in Southern California as well as Northern California. As we look at our islands, there's a little poke of yellowtail, mostly being seen, not being caught at all our local islands right now. It's mostly rockfish when you're fishing from the Coronado Islands up to the Channel Islands. I would call the Channel Islands probably the best spot of all. But having said that, now that we're fishing this deep water, boats that are fishing out of San Diego, out of Dana Wharf, out of Oceanside, here in the LA Orange County area are doing quite well indeed on the bigger rockfish, the deeper water stuff. And of course, the Channel Islands just continue to crank out spectacular catches. Sea Watch, their morning trip yesterday, great rock fishing out of Seaforth Sport Fishing in San Diego. In the afternoon, they had a few bass, saw some yellowtail, hooked a yellowtail. So there's still that local surface bite that is a possibility down there in the San Diego area. If that fails, then you can go offshore and do really, really well on the rockfish. As I mentioned to you, the San Diego fish to Coronado Islands. Boats that are fishing Catalina Island up here in this neck of the woods are catching a few bonita and actually pretty good bonita fishing, a few yellowtail and really good rockfish in that neck of the woods. So that is really, really great stuff. Along the beaches here, the surf fishing bite has been absolutely spectacular. It's been good for Corvina here in the short water, and this is a perfect day. I see no grass in the water. The ocean conditions are perfect. You should be able to pick up yellowfin croaker by using a small chrome crocodile lure, like a 3/4 ounce, tossing that out and retrieving it. That's a great way to go if you like to fish bait, dig up some sandworms or some sand crabs, or you can always head down to Big Fish Bait and Tackle on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. A mere 10-15 minute walk from where I stand right now. They've got all your bait and they've got all your tackle, not only for surf fishing, but they also have great tackle for big game stuff. Big game stuff that is biting right now off the Southern California coast. That's Big Fish Bait and Tackle. Hope you get to visit them so you can get 10% off your lobster hoop netting gear when you mention Friedman Adventures down there. Also, taking a look at the situation in terms of lobster hoop netting, it's been fantastic. Mostly, or I shouldn't say mostly, there's local lobster being taken, but Catalina Island's been phenomenal this year, and it continues to produce a lot of limit style hoop netting right now. That is 7 lobster per angler. That's some pretty darn good shooting. I'll remind you all to Do a search here on Friedman Adventures if you're interested in learning more about lobster fishing. Steve Oropesa did a great lobster seminar with me this year. And Promar, once again, providing the best lobster hoop netting gear available anywhere. Visit them at promarahi.com. Put in Friedman 10 at checkout, and you will be blessed with a 10% discount, that is for sure. Local rockfish remains really excellent. We continue to see great fishing for boats in the LA Orange County area, down in San Diego, as we mentioned, up in Oceanside, Dana Wharf, up in Redondo, Marina del Rey, up there in the Channel Islands. I'm talking 1/2 and 3/4 day boats that are doing well. 22nd Street Landing, the Monte Carlo, catching good whitefish and sheepshead up there in the Santa Monica Bay. They've had some good fishing. There's also some bass fighting up there at times. Channel Islands, tremendous out of Ventura sport fishing. We continue to see great fishing on the Island Spirit and other boats. And don't forget, the Endeavor is going Sunday night out of Ventura sport fishing. You can rarely get on that boat because it's just booked up because of their stellar reputation for great customer service and being so good at catching lots of fish. That is Tucker McCombs. Sunday night, you can join them, 805-676-3474. Up there in the northern sector, the boys up there continue. It's weather dependent, obviously, but they continue to catch some nice big bluefin tuna. Bodega Bay, Santa Cruz, those areas have been really, really good. The other day we had Joe Russo on here, and Joe was talking about some guys that were having good fishing up there, and that is Matt from Redwood Coast Spreader Bars. And those spreader bars, Joe tells me, works really, really well. Joe, of course, with the rail rod assist pipe, which is really just changing the whole game of catching those big bluefin tuna. You don't have to crouch down. You can fight those fish standing up with your leg muscle and not mess your back all up. You can drop Joe a text if you're interested in that. And once again, I highly recommend you look into Redwood Coast Spreader Bars. Those boys up there are putting a hurt on some big bluefin tuna, and that is pretty darn cool. All right, my friends, we are going to continue to watch this very, very closely. Really great offshore fishing. Don't see it slowing down. Love that the weather's kind of out of the picture again, and by that I mean there was supposed to be some pretty significant wind Wednesday night, Thursday, and that's out of the picture. We're going to get a little breezy on one of those days, and that's it. We're going to get some rain in here, but there's not going to be any wind in accompanying it, and that is all really great news. All right, I hope you're having a great Sunday. It is absolutely gorgeous. Surf fishing, it's not that expensive. It doesn't take up a lot of your time. You can do it every day. You can do it before and after work, and you can get a break from reality. Enjoy what we are so blessed to have in our very own backyard. And if you want to venture out a little bit further, man, we have world-class bluefin tuna fishing here for you all in Southern California. Have a great Sunday, my friends, and I hope to see you really, really soon.
First cast coming up. Dad Leland's back. He ain't screwing around anymore.
Freaking nice bar purge.
Ah, life's good. Woo!
Good job, man.
Ah, Phil, I'm so glad you talked me into this.
Oh. Woo! What a way to start the morning briefing.
Look at that, man.
The big calico bass come out to play around Punta Banda, Baja California, Norte near Ensenada, fishing with Diego Nuno and Costa Baja Sport Fishing. A really fun and productive method to take yellowfin croaker in the Southern California coast is by throwing a small lure. It really works well, and it's lots of fun.
Deception jig, man, and that thing hit the bottom, twitched it once, and it was on.
This is not a translator. I'm going to let her introduce herself to you.
I'm Desiree.
Oh my God. Holy shit. Yeah, this is I'm so happy. Oh my God. Phil, how the hell did you do
Danny
this?
Cadota and I went to Torrance, California to the Sushi Chef Institute to try these fish chips out.
A fish chip.
Really?
It is. That's what he said. I go, wow.
You are going to have to try these. So good.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for your service. This is all about the vets and your kids and how grateful we are to have you on board. Brad and I had done these trips many times out of Oceanside, and I went to be a teacher in China for 3 years. And then the minute I get back, man, he lays this thing on me about how much he missed these. I was almost in tears. He was talking about how much he missed the trips and everything, and I missed them too. So I want to thank everybody who made today's trip possible. A group called Friends of Rallo. They're great. They get kids out on the water. Today they're bringing vets and their kids together. That's super important. Friedman Adventures, that's this guy, me and his brother. We do blogs and videos and adventures around the world. So you can, he'll tell you you can check that out. Dana Worth Sport Fishing, for sure. Donna up there in the ticket office has gone to extremes to make sure we have a really comfortable and great trip. And, am I missing somebody? Waterboats Bass, who donated some water thermal things for you guys. Everybody on board will get that. If you're new to fishing, you can hit Philip up or me. I'm going to be shooting a lot of video and photos, so hit us up, the crew here, be happy to help you. If you know what you're doing, just catch lots of fish and have a good time. There'll be lunch for you guys, rods and reels are provided, and once again, you have our extreme thanks and gratitude for being here today. So thank you all very, very much. Thank you. See you soon. Have a good time. Woo!